shouldn't use the stove with the door closed.
Told me to leave these boxes here to let them dry out.
Something about this cold weather.
Never mind, I guess.
The guy, what's his name? Thoreau, who wrote Walden, sitting at Walden's Pond, he wrote that he liked wood heat because warms you twice. You have to cut the wood and it keeps you warm. Then when you light the fire. So at least this work is keep us warm.
I gotta run over to the bed tent because I think my present's in there. Oh, excuse me.
All those
rain, sleet, or snow. True fighter right there. Shit is crazy. Thankfully I got some cinder blocks the other day and brought those down and tie those to the bottom. Hopefully that'll keep it from flying away. I gotta hold on to this shit. So test and parachute. That was awesome.
I like 10 times stop buildings from blowing away. And where the rack, you gotta find someone to take care of it.
So we got another cinder block on this end and tying another one to the back. Oh.
So last night there was consensus at the General Assembly that we would not be leaving on November 6th as the mayor put forward in his missive to the media. The decision was made and it was approved to hold a rally at 11 o'clock that will be billed as a solidarity rally and a great grand parade cleanup to get the park kind of cleaned up and ready for Remembrance Day. We agreed at that meeting that we would be leaving the park on Remembrance Day itself, and that we would make every attempt possible to maintain some kind of presence, whether that is individuals standing there, either through laying a wreath, maintaining 1 or 2 tents, something like that, but we're working out that process with local veteran groups and with the mayor's office. So the agreement was that we would be leaving for the 11th. The question that is coming forward, and that we would come back in the morning of the 12th to Grand Parade. The question is, what day are we going to leave the camp? And that was what we were hoping the working group was going to present on. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yep.
Are there any questions on everything that I've just gone over? Great, Ian. Oh, sorry, sister.
Do you think that we might need to, I know you guys are working with everybody else, but do you think maybe like city workers might be someone to ask for some help cleaning up? Because there's going to be a whole lot of, excuse my language, frail tents that people just leave.
We do know the city workers very well. They're members of QP Local 108, and we work with them very closely. We will, on the 6th, also put a call out to other union members to come down and help us. So the 6th is a Sunday. City workers are not going to be there on Sunday. The idea would be that they will do what needs to be done afterwards, but we should try to clean up our own shit as much as we can. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, and we'll get help. We'll get folks to come down and help.
Okay. Any other questions on what was approved at the General Assembly last night? Okay, I'm turning it back over to Ian, to the working group. Is there a recommendation for what day we should be leaving the camp?
Absolutely. There's a proposal from the strategy working group that needs to be put before the General Assembly, and the main points are as follows. That we would not be leaving on the 6th, as already discussed, but that the 6th would be a rally and cleaning party, which would commence the cleaning of the area. The 7th and 8th would be, we would continue cleaning, getting tents down as we could, making sure that people still had a place to stay either at Grand Parade or at our own location, which we propose will be Victoria Square, or Victoria Park, pardon me. And because there are trees for shelter, it seems a good location for a lot of reasons we can get into if we need to. And Labor has volunteered some trucks in order to facilitate getting all that stuff there. And we would be there, as the plan goes, I suppose, the night of the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, and 11th, returning to Grand Parade in full force, setting everything up again and being very well established with a rally at 11 a.m. of November 12th. And Labor will help with getting enough people involved. We can do that through our networks as well, and want to be even bigger, even more spectacle than it was the day we moved in. So we are not acknowledging the mayor's request to us, but we are showing absolute respect for the veterans who will want the square on the 11th themselves, because they have 5,000 people coming, and also as an extra sort of added sign of respect to the Jewish Council, which I believe it's called, that will be having the Dignity Day ceremony on the 9th, which is why we want to be out as of the 8th. And that's the proposal that's been worked on and brought before, I believe, the past 3, if not 4, General Assemblies. And this is the day that I think we decided to see if there are any other reasons why this can't go through immediately. And that we would follow this up with a press release for very early tomorrow morning that would go to all our media sources.
Okay. So the proposal that has just been put on the table by the working group is that the 6th is our major cleanup rally. The 7th and the 8th, we continue cleaning and taking tents down. The 8th, the camp shifts to Victoria Park. It spends the night of the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, and the 11th. That's 4 nights at Victoria Park. And then it goes back the morning of the 12th to Grand Parade. Does everybody understand the proposal?
With a rally on the 12th.
With a rally on the 12th. Does everyone understand the proposal? Okay, so now I'm going to ask if there are questions for the working group on the proposal.
So, the days that we'll be moving out of here, has any idea or plan been set forward for the people who will not have a place to stay during those days?
The working group said that they'll be making sure that there's enough tents for folks to stay in, either at the main location or at the new location at Victoria Park.
Okay, so
there may be some nights where folks are spending time at them.
Okay.
Other questions for the working group?
Are we releasing this press release before or after the mayor comes down? Or during?
Speak to that? My thought would be that we want it out as soon as possible, so I'm not sure on the mayor's schedule.
The mayor's schedule is supposed to be down between 11 and 11:30.
Yeah.
I think we should let it out about 10:30.
I heard 9 a.m. and I don't know if that was ever finalized.
We had talked about in the working group that we would try to call the mayor's office at 8 a.m. Monday morning, and that by 9 a.m., right before editorial board meetings start, the media release would go out. Tony.
I was in the meeting in the tent with the mayor, the war veterans, and representatives of Occupy Nova Scotia. Not as a representative of Occupy myself, but as a labor rep. And the mayor was very clear that he would be coming down between 11 and 11:30 Monday morning. We can certainly call him in the morning to confirm that, but he was very clear about the timing. I would argue that we send out a press release prior to that, so it doesn't look like a response to the mayor coming down, that it actually is actually coming out as the voice of the occupation prior to that visit. And that we actually, upon the mayor arriving, we informed him of our decision, which is a decision that we will be coming back on the 12th.
I have my sneaking suspicions if we release it early, he won't be coming down.
I think he will.
You think so?
Because the war veterans, a couple of them want to come out.
Okay.
And I think he wants to be seen with them.
Eric.
So that proposal didn't really include anything about what our presence would be and about potentially leaving a tent there. Is that something we need to decide still, or is that?
I think the fate of that tent rests entirely with the war vets. Okay. They've been very cautious about that idea. They haven't said no yet, but I think my feeling would be that our decision shouldn't hang on that.
Basically, if we keep one of the professional-looking tents, such as the food tent set up there, it might even blend in with the group there. So we could probably have a small contingent of people there to show our support, and I think it's really a good idea. In fact, I'd volunteer myself for that.
I would volunteer as well for it.
Okay. I've got Tony, then John, Brian.
Can you restate it?
Sure. So the proposal is, as was already passed by General Assembly, there'll be a rally and great cleanup on the 6th. The cleanup will continue on the 7th and the 8th. By the end of the day on the 8th, the entire camp will have moved to Victoria Park. It will stay there for 4 days, the 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. It will return the next morning with a major rally on the 12th.
Where is that at?
Victoria Park's at the other end of Spring Garden Road.
Spring Garden and South Park, right across from the public gardens. Rebecca.
Hi, I was talking to someone before I came over, and he just wanted Sean? Wanted to make sure that someone put forward that we treat moving to Victoria Park kind of like some sort of festival or celebration, so that it looks like something different, so it doesn't look like we're as much moving the occupation as we're doing something different in a different spot, and then the occupation is always kind of at Grand Parade. So he wanted that to be put forward, as well as some other points that were touched upon.
So I'm going to take that into consideration, and I'm actually going to put a proposal on the table as well, that a moving committee be struck to deal with the logistics of the move, which would include things like that and how we want to frame it. So we're going to go back to the first proposal. Are there any questions on the proposal?
I think Brian.
I was just going to add to hers.
Okay, Brian? So I'm not seeing any questions, so I'm going to see if there's consensus on the proposal. All those, Brian?
There's been a lot of talk about press releases. Is our strategy with dealing with the outside world on this part of this proposal, or is that going to be addressed next?
It's a separate question. Yeah. Okay, all folks want to twinkle? Who likes the proposal?
I don't see everybody's hands in the air.
I'm not seeing a block. Kendall?
No, I mean, yeah, I do.
Okay, great. So I'm going to say that that proposal has consensus.
Can you ask if there's any blocks?
I just did. Sorry, are there any blocks?
Any what?
Blocks.
What does that mean?
Anybody blocking the decision?
Do you disagree? Anyone who's so against it that you would block it?
Are you gonna stay with us if we move, or are you just gonna go home if we move?
I'm sticking around.
All right, then you don't block.
Okay, great. So the decision carries.
I'm sticking around to help with this press release.
Okay. So Tony, you are going to coordinate the media group to get a press release together? Hear you.
Okay,
You're going to coordinate the media group to get a press release together?
I'll stay with folks.
I would like. Okay. So if anybody wants to work on the media release, come stand with Tony.
I'm Tony.
Not you, this is...
It's the only thread on the forum that has 0 posts.